Hey everybody, happy August. It is August already. I cannot believe it. Time just flies, and before I know it, I feel like it's gonna be fall and the summer has just flown by and it always goes so fast. But yeah, so we're here in August, so that means it's time to recap what I loved from the month of July, and I had quite a few things that I loved, and a lot of them were things that I really discovered I loved while in Italy. For those of you who don't know, I was in Italy at the beginning of this month, so I'm back. I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to post another video. It's just, I was in Italy and it was fabulous and amazing, and I'll do a video just on that because it was so amazing. But then I came home and it was like work all of a sudden was just crazy. And so it was like nonstop with work for the past 2 weeks. And once I get out of my routine of filming, it can be so hard to get back into it. So July favorites time. Now hopefully I can get back into the swing of things and be posting, more regularly, because I hate being away for so long. It just it makes me feel out of the loop. So a bunch of these things I really just either fell back in love with or really fell in love with while in Italy, because I didn't take a lot of makeup, so the things that I used, the things that I had were what I used again and again and again. So, and a lot of these things are drugstore, which is fabulous. Always love drugstore picks. So the first one is an oldie but a goodie. This is Revlon Colorstay, just the regular original Colorstay. This one is for normal to dry skin, and I have it in the color 250 Fresh Beige. And I have tried Colorstay on and off for a long time because some people, it's like cult classic. Some people rave about it, can't get enough, holy grail foundation. Other people hate it. And I tended to be, I didn't hate it, but I kind of tended to be more on the not loving Colorstay. Hard for me to find a color. The color selection is insane. There's just tons of colors, but I found like a lot of them that I picked ran pink on me, and that is not at all flattering on my skin tone. So I feel like I'm better able to judge undertones in bottles like this better than I used to be, because you can't swatch them, so that makes it really hard. But so I went and I wanted to try this again, and I wanted to try the normal to dry because the combination to oily was too heavy for me. And I think if I mixed them it'd be even better, but I just was too much of the heavy mask on my skin, and I like a little bit more of a natural finish. So I picked this up in 250 Fresh Beige because it looked the least pink in my color range, and it's a great match for me. Probably a half shade lighter than my actual skin tone, especially if I've been doing any sunless tanning at all, but I actually really like that. I would so much rather have a foundation be like a tiny bit lighter than too dark, because I like my face to be a little bit lighter already. I just think it's brighter, fresher, cleaner looking. If my foundation is just a little bit too dark, I think it looks kind of dirty and heavy, and I just don't like that look at all. So a little bit of light for me. I just warm it up with some bronzer, and I love this. I love the coverage. I apply it with either, my Beauty Blender is my favorite way to apply it. I think it's the way to get the most natural light coverage, but I also like using my Sedona Lace 928 like flat top kabuki brush. This one's super dirty, I need to wash it. But when I don't feel like wetting my Beauty Blender and like drying that off and everything, I'll just use this real quick. I don't love it as much as my Beauty Blender, but it still is a really good way to apply it. For me, using my Beauty Blender, I think that shears it out more than if you're using your fingers or a brush or something. So I find it to be medium coverage. I think it can be buildable to more, but I just really like it. I think it's very natural looking on me. I love that it isn't too drying. It's not too moisturizing. And it lasts a really, really long time. I would not say 24 hours. I've never had it on. That is actually not true. I have had this on 24 hours. When we flew to Italy, this is what I wore because I wanted something that was gonna hold up. And it was a 9-hour flight going there. And we arrived, we kind of flew overnight, with the time difference. We used that as our nighttime. And then we got to Italy at 9 a.m. And then I wore it all day. So I did wear it more than 24 hours. And honestly, by the end of the day, my makeup looked fabulous. That's like a great representation of this product. So definitely holds up, looks great, love it. It's cheap, it's from the drugstore. Enough about that. Under my makeup, I wanted something for Italy. Lots of people told me to be careful about sun exposure because you're outside so much. There's just so much to see. So I wanted a sunscreen for my face because the one I use from Mary Kay is 35. And I love that. I love that for every day. But if I'm going to be outside all day long, I wanted something more than that. And I wanted something that was probably, I don't know, more suited for like holding up all day long under crazy sweat because it was hot. Let me tell you, if you're thinking about taking a trip to Italy in July, maybe move it because it was so hot. Oh my gosh, just disgustingly hot. So enough of that. I picked this up. This is the Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Liquid Daily Sunblock SPF 70. And I feel like this might be new this season, but I could be wrong. And it's in a shaker like this. And this is small. This is probably, okay, 1.4 ounces. SPF 70, so it's super high SPF. And I love this for under makeup. I've been wearing it ever since. I'll show you here. It is like water, if you can see that. I mean, it is like so thin. And I put a decent amount on because everybody says we don't put enough sunscreen on. We use a tiny little bit, and that's actually not enough to give you the true sun protection factor. But this is fabulous. It's so thin. It absorbs right into the skin. You have almost none of that slick, oily feeling. I mean, it gives a little bit more slip than if you had nothing on your skin, but I never felt a sunscreen that absorbed this well, was this thin, and had this much of a sun protection factors. SPF 70 normally is a thick sunscreen. So this is great. Didn't clog my pores. I didn't have any issues with it. So if you're looking for high SPF, something to wear under makeup that's not gonna make you oily, break down, whatever, definitely pick this up. I love it. Next, also I guess going under my makeup here, I took this along because it was just a little sample that I had from Sephora or something. And this is the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Skin Smoothing Face Primer. And it's just this little thing, and I took it along because it was tiny and I could pack it. And it is a face primer, so after I put my face products on, my sunscreen, I let that soak in for a while, then I put this on. That's a tiny little bit. It's a little bit flesh, like skin colored. And it gives your skin a real velvety feel, kind of mattes it out. It just really makes it look like velvet. It just smooths it out. And then it makes your foundation go on smoother. And I like it because I really think it makes my makeup last longer. I was using it not because, that's the reason I usually use primers, if I do use them, is to try and make my makeup last longer versus make it look even better on my skin. Because normally I feel like my foundation looks pretty good on my skin as it is. But I feel like I'm wearing this today. I feel like it helps my foundation hold up better, especially if it's something that breaks down a little faster on me. Like today I'm wearing the Revlon Colorstay, which is great. But sometimes I have foundations that I love the finish, I love the coverage, but they break down pretty fast on me. Something like this really helps. Another one that's very similar is the L'Oreal Studio Secrets Magic Perfecting Base. Very similar concept. I think they pretty much do the same exact thing. I just happen to really be using this one this month more. But yeah, help makeup last longer, make your skin look beautiful. Next, going on to mascaras. This is a combo that I've been loving. And I feel like this mascara is in every month's favorites because it's just the best. It's so great. Covergirl Lash Blast Volume, the kind in the orange tube. It's just the best mascara. I love this for layering. The brush just helps separate lashes, and especially as it's starting to dry out, that's when it's my favorite. And now it's time to toss this because it's too old and it's too dry. But I love it when it's starting to get a little bit dry because I can coat my lashes, which separates them without them getting gloppy and goopy and everything. So that's why I love this brush. So what I do is I've been doing this almost all month. I do my first coat of mascara with this, and I like really coat it up because the more you comb through your lashes with this, the more separated they become, the longer, the fuller. It just really helps to separate so they're not all stuck together. But as it's getting drier, because this is old, it's harder for it to go all the way to the tips. Like I find my tips, I can still see some blonde eyelash tips. So I took this mascara along to Italy because it's just a little sample. I got it in one of those Sephora lash samplers, mascara samplers. And I love this layering combo. It's what I'm wearing today. This is the Makeup Forever Smokey Lash Extra Black Mascara, volume, length, and curl. And I just have this little version And the brush just is so unlike any other brush I've ever seen. I don't know if you can tell. It's a rubber bristle brush, but they're not pointed at the tips. They're almost like little rubber cylinders. I mean, they're flat at the tips and they're thick bristles. At first when I was looking at it, I just thought it was kind of like clumpy from mascara, but it's not. Each bristle is like flat on the top and kind of wide. And it's just so unique. I've just never seen anything like that. But I love this for going over it. I would do my Lash Blast volume, get really great separation and some really great volume, and then I'd go over it with the Makeup Forever, and they would get jet black and like extra long and extra thick. I mean, they were just pow lashes, and I loved it. One thing I am noticing, and for those of you who have tried this mascara, you can let me know, this is drying out, so it's not nearly as good as it was 2 weeks ago. It's a really little tube, and I've had this mascara sampler. I haven't used this. I've been kind of going through them one by one. I've had it for months, and I know it was in Sephora for months before I got it. So it could be just that it's old, but it could be a mascara that just gets, you know, drier faster. So you'll have to let me know if you tried it. But this combo, fabulous. Loving the way it makes my lashes look. Whew. I feel like I need to take a breath here. We're chugging through these. My next favorite is something I picked up, I think this past month, if not the month before. And it is a new Sephora crystal nail file. I loved my Sephora crystal nail file that I had before. I had it for a year, kept it in my purse. These crystal nail files are just much better for your nails. They're not so rough on your nails that they split and crack from the nail filing. It's a very fine grit to it, and it lasts, I mean, forever. I don't know that it ever really goes dull. So I keep it in my purse because if I break a nail or something, like I get a little nail slit or something, I have to file it away, or I will just pick at it until I have no nail left. So I have to like keep a nail file with me. And I love these crystal nail files, but my previous one broke. It was at the bottom of my purse, it broke it in half. And it lasted a year before it broke, so I'm pretty impressed with that because I'm really rough with my purse and everything. But when I went to get a new one, and I know you don't have to get Sephora, you can get any brand, but I was just at Sephora and so I decided to pick one up. They have a new case for it. My other one just came in like a little plastic thing that was just real thin, just like a very, very thin, bendy plastic. This one is a hard case. And I love that about it because I always know where it is then, because this is so easy to see in my purse. It protects it, and it just is really easy to find versus just this little thing that could poke or break, and then you've got sharp glass in your purse, which is not good. So I love this nail file. It's the only one I file my nails with. I mean, I keep it in my purse, but anytime I file my nails down, I just pull this out and use it. So I love this. I think it's so worth it, and I love that it's in a case. All right, and I always put a favorite nail polish in my monthly favorites. But this month, I don't actually have a nail polish to show you, but I've talked about this a couple times before, have had mixed experiences, but this month was awesome. It is Shellac, C&D Creative Nail Designs Shellac, which is, you know, I'm sure you've all heard of it by now, the gel soak-off nail polish, so it doesn't damage your nails. I mean, slightly as it's coming off, it can kind of damage your nails, but it's not, they don't have to sand down your fingernails and really rough them up for it to stick, and it doesn't have to peel off. You just soak them right off, which is great. I had that done for Italy because I didn't want to be messing with nail polish. I didn't want to have to worry about my nail polish chipping or painting them at all. So I got a French manicure in the shellac and I loved it. It held up the whole week. By the end, I had like very minor, teeny little chips, but nothing major. I kept it for a couple days after and then I just soaked them off and my nails are fine. So loved that because it just, for anything, for big events, vacations like that, I just really recommend that. If you don't feel like messing with nail polish, taking a long nail polish remover, just such a low, zero actually maintenance way to keep your nails looking great. So I loved that. So that is it. These were my favorites from the month of July. Many of them things that I discovered that I like really love and really got to use while in Italy. So some of them good things that maybe for travel maybe not. Maybe I just discovered them because I was using them all the time. But yeah, so those are my favorites. Let me know what your favorites were for July, and I hope to be posting videos much more regularly now. But thank you for all the great comments, and I will talk to you soon. So see you, everybody.